We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
All right, Manny, no bigger cheese right now than, of course, Bitcoin, which is moving now. See, 104,577 now. See, now we're working our way to 105 during your appearance, okay?
All right,
See?
that's what I like. I want to make you guys money, that's for sure.
Pumping, baby, pumping. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Pump it up. Go down there to the Big Cheese. Get some delicious garlic rolls. Get a little lasagna, a little pizza. It's good stuff there. By the way, the party platters are also available. So if you want to have a get together, your office or family or anything like that, you can call the Big Cheese and you can order the party platters. Any dish can become a party platter. 305-662-6855. All right, so the Big Cheese that landed this week was Carson Beck. We've talked about that this week. What is in the backup news for quarterbacks? Are they done? Is there feathers ruffled with the young guy that's been waiting in the wing? Talk to us. What's going on there?
Well, Beck is not going to actually be running anything during spring football, my understanding. I think he will be out in terms of taking snaps, etc. For a guy like Emory Williams, obviously there are going to be teams, particularly one down the road at FIU, where his former quarterbacks coach and recruiter is at, that'll probably be looking to add him. The problem for Emory is, Beck's. It's kind of a really weird situation because obviously Beck, everyone expects his elbow to be fine, and for him to be able to play at the start of the season. Miami's obviously going to pay him a lot of money to start this season, but the two guys that are the competition for Williams are a true freshman, Luke Nickel, that they're really excited about, and a guy in Judd Anderson that I don't know will ever see the field here. So it's kind of a weird thing, right? Because he's been sitting here investing all this time, waiting to take over the starting job. He's learned the offense. He's obviously built a relationship with Miami's offensive coordinator, who's been here now going on year 3. And so I'm very interested to see how it plays out. I know that his family obviously wanted him to get the starting job and be in place to take over for Cam Ward. But, I would imagine they're looking at other potential spots. I don't know that he is going to leave yet. I think he might be better served finishing the semester at Miami. He's a smart kid. Who knows if he's close to graduating already in 3 years that he's been here. And then, he redshirted last year. He's got 3 years of eligibility left. I think if Carson Beck comes back and is healthy by April, May, where he's feeling great, I would not be surprised to see Emory Williams enter the portal and go. And then at that point, Miami's backup situation becomes most likely the true freshman, Luke Nickel, who I know the coaching staff is really excited about. And I think that's the way Miami goes.
I got to ask because we're going to need a quarterback for the crappy bowl game at the end of the year.
Yes. Right. That's the way it operates, man. Luke Nickel would be the starting quarterback for the whatever bowl game Miami is in, for sure. If it's the Pop-Tarts Bowl again or the Mayo Bowl. Yeah.
Unless you're in the playoffs, Carson Beck probably will not play.
Of course not. Of course not. At that point, there are no...
The experience this year from Cam is a great example for the next guy, which is Carson Beck. And let's not agree to play a half. Either we don't play the game or we only play when it's the playoffs. If it's not the playoffs, then we're not playing the bowl game.
Here's the thing I'm going to say. Here's the quick thing I'm going to say about that, and the more perspective that I've got as time has gone on with this. Mario, I think, was in a bit of a tough spot because you sell something as a coach, right? Come to my program, set records, run the number one offense. And then when the kids sign these NIL deals, hey, play in the bowl game, and there's whatever $300,000 bonus, whatever. Like the kid was on the mark for the FBS rec. All he had to do was throw one, and essentially what ended up happening was they were in a tight game in the first half, and he wanted to finish it. And so whatever agreement they had, I think maybe it was a quarter, and then it turned into a half. Like, I don't know, man. It's a tough thing to be in, because in the end, what Cam Ward's success and his year did for you helped land you Carson Beck. Carson Beck doesn't come here if Cam Ward doesn't play the way he did.
I agree.
So I think even seeing Cam Ward play in the bowl game, a meaningless bowl game, let's face it, it's a freaking exhibition, and to get the touchdown record, I think Mario wins points with quarterbacks. Hey, did you see what I did? I let this guy play and I took the heat for him. Everybody called me the idiot, not him the idiot. You know what I'm saying? So,
oh no, he's an idiot too.
Right, but I'm saying in the end, Mario looked like the bigger idiot, right?
Yeah, but playing a half of a meaningless bowl game for a record, that's stupid. I actually think. But I mean, if the record means something for you, fine. But if you end up blowing your knee or your shoulder in that half,
I agree. I agree 100%.
Stupid record in a meaningless game. Yeah. You know, it's just stupid all around, dude. I you know, to me, and the worst part about it, the worst indictment of it all was once Cam stepped off the field, how incompetent your team looked. And that to me was the real indictment on Mario. That's the part. In the end, the Cam stuff, bro, I don't really give a shit about it. The bowl game's meaningless. To me, the more criticism that I have of Cam is, dude, you shouldn't have played at all. You're playing for a stupid record. You're risking your real career for a shitty record that means really nothing in the end, because it's about winning or something significant in college football, whatever record it is, dude. Now, right. Okay, so who has the rushing record from 4 years ago?
Right. No, nobody knows. But for Cam Ward, a guy who was a 0-star recruit, didn't get to win the Heisman, it's his parting gift.
Yeah, it's his. But I just my criticism to him was it was a terrible business decision on your part. My criticism to Mario Cristobal, it was a terrible coaching decision on your part too, because you put your player at risk. You should have told them, hey, that record's not important. What's important is your career. You're going to put your, this bowl game isn't important for you. It isn't that important for us. So let's move on. Let's, save everybody a problem, because we've seen Kevin Fagan. We've seen Melvin Bratton. We've seen Willis McGahee. I've witnessed it all. I've seen them all blow out knees in final games with the University of Miami. And by the way, they were all playing meaningful games.
Right. Well, it was a different era back then, right? It was.
They were playing in the Orange Bowl. They were playing in big ass games. So they were risking something because it really meant something. Moment.
I will say, not to check you on your history, but remember, this was before the BCS era, even before you had a national championship game. So
I know, but Kevin Fagan was playing a really important game for the University of Miami. Right. So was McGahee. You know what I'm saying? So they were playing in games that were meaningful. This game was not meaningful. That would be my only.
I agree
for Cam. That you risked your career for a stupid record.
Right.
Give me a break, bro.
I agree. I agree.
Your season was fantastic, bro. That's all you needed.
Yeah, I think NIL and records make you do silly things. So.
Yeah, and I hope that you don't do that again to Carson Beck. I hope Carson Beck learns too that don't risk a half in a meaningless game. If it's the playoffs, then you should play, and everybody should be trying to win and all that good stuff. But it's just, I guess we've had just this whole taste of Tyreek quitting, then the whole Cam thing for the half, and then we have the Jimmy Butler thing. So it's kind of been a month of and I think
quit month. Everybody's quitting. Everybody's getting on those diets, and they're quitting all the bad stuff. Yeah,
it's magnified everything, because everyone that does it is going to get more heat, because it's like, bro, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
And this is bullshit. And that's kind of the way it also did not help that the environment locally has been like that. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Yep.
All right, so what do we got in other positions on the NIL and recruiting report?
Well, this is Junior Day weekend. And they're gonna have a bunch of 2026 guys here. One of them is, we're gonna get back to the transfers and all that in a second, but I wanted to make sure we talked about Junior Weekend because that was one of the last topics that came to my mind here as we were getting ready for the show. They're gonna have a kid here, Jalen Waters, is a Florida commitment, a cornerback. Again, you talk about stacking classes. That is a kid who's been committed to Florida. You talk about the head-to-head battles for players with the Gators. They play the Gators September 20th. They open with Notre Dame, but then they play Florida on the 20th. So that'll be a little news report from this weekend. I think the kid's going to flip to Miami. Plus, there's a bunch of other prospects down here who are meeting the new coaches, Heatherman, the defensive coordinator, and everything else. There's a long list of guys that I think it's important to just mention here as we talk about NIL and recruiting. Derek Cooper, the running back here from Hollywood Chaminade, is a huge target for them. One of the best running backs in the country, if not the best one. I've seen this kid now for 2 years. He can play anywhere on the field. Reminds me of Sean Taylor in terms of body type and ability. I think he'd be a tremendous linebacker or safety, but I think he's ultimately going to be running back at the next level. Some other kids, Brandon Bennett, or another wide receiver, big time kid. Aiden Pouncey, a safety. Another Florida area kid. So they're trying. It's an important weekend for setting the tone because what happens though, I tell people this all the time with recruiting. You got to pay attention to June and all that, but this time, like Junior Day, who comes on Junior Day is a good barometer for who you're really in it for. And those are some of the big names in terms of the 26 class that people should know about.
Okay. All right. Talk to me a little bit on any of the other recruits that they're like a 2027 commit or something like that.
Yeah, they added. I'm trying to remember this kid's name now. I sent out his information earlier this week on a tweet, and now I'm blanking on his name. I'll tell you right now. He's a local wide receiver, Amari Stevens. 5'11", 165. He's at American Heritage now. Was at St. Thomas Aquinas last year. St. Thomas Aquinas wins all those state titles. But he's another fast, huge playmaker. 910 yards, 10 touchdowns last year for Aquinas, Ole Miss, Florida State, some of the schools that were after him. He's the first commitment for Miami in the 2027 class. People don't want to hear about 2027 kids yet. Because he's going to change his mind 30 times.
It's true.
But I feel like the first kid that you get in the class and you do it in January, those are important. Like when those things happen are important benchmarks because
Starts
the
momentum.
first guy, momentum. And because the coach almost like if he's going to make you the first commit in the class, you're a core piece. Very rarely do you see the first guy drop out. In other words, he's going to be the hook to get a lot of other guys that they're interested in, right? He's going to be the quote unquote leader. So like Miami's got 3 guys right now committed in the 26 class, including the quarterback, Darion Coleman. Like those guys committed at certain points. Like Coleman committed when all the 26 QBs were committing. Like you look at, okay, he's going to get a good payday in NIL, and he's going to be the hook for everybody else in the class. And so I look at this kid, Stevens, and the fact that he's already a stud, as a sophomore, and I say, okay, let's take note of this guy. Remember this name, Amari Stevens, because he is the hook for the 27 class. And again, long time before he signs, but there's some core guys that I think fan bases should stick on to. Yes, kids are going to flip a bunch of times. That's a guy that I'm willing to bet will be in Miami's class because Mario wouldn't have designated him as the first commit and allowed him to make it such a big thing if he didn't believe in him. So that's it.
By the way, you mentioned something about if Jason Taylor is back. Is there any kind of talk about Jason Taylor moving on or something?
No, I mean, I think, when I was on campus, when Carson Beck got there last Saturday before I got sick with all this cold and was in bed for the last 5 days, JT was there, and it was funny because I was looking at all the assistants who were coming out to welcome because it was move-in day for all the new recruits and all the transfers. And JT was the only assistant on defense that was actually interacting with the kids that I saw really like involved. And so to me, that's the telltale sign, right? The other guys, Chevis Jackson, who's now at Wake Forest, the defensive backs coach, he was kind of holding the door for people as they walked in. Coach D-Nick, I don't even know. I didn't even see him. He didn't even come out with the kids. So all I was going to mention was that of all the assistants that are going to stick around, I think he is the only one on defense that Mario is going to hold on to. And I think as long as there's not an NFL job that comes around that he's interested in, I think JT wants to be at Miami. And I think, part of Mario's pitch to Heatherman was to try to keep JT here. So.
All right, good stuff. Don't forget the Big Cheese is at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. They've been around for 40 years.
Yes.
Billy, Gary, just amazing people.
I could use some of that pasta right now, man, to make myself feel better. That's for sure.
I'm actually thinking maybe this afternoon I might go to the Big Cheese with the wife and go have a little bit of pasta there at the Big Cheese. 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. You can order it for delivery, pickup, or of course just dine in. And the place is like a UM Hall of Fame. I'm telling you, the memories on the walls are for the last 40 years. And it's going to freak you out. Autographs, pictures, memories, just great stuff, dude. Best players you've ever played at the Canes, and some of the most famous people, they've all been there to the Big Cheese. Go check it out. 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. Manny, what do you got going on in the Athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, when I start writing again on Monday, I will be talking about the transfer portal winners and losers. Obviously we got the national championship game on Monday night. Between Ohio State and Notre Dame. I will be looking ahead. I will be making predictions for the 2025 year, my oddly specific predictions. I think I went 98 and 46 was my overall record, week to week picking games this season. And I predicted Ohio State would win the national title in August. I thought Notre Dame would make it to the Final Four. They made it to the championship game. So I will be sharing my crystal ball for next year and who I think will be playing for the national championship in that column as well. So if you want to read that and check that out, I will be back with some writing next week after getting over this flu, brother.
Well, we made them money, bro, because we gave them Ohio State -6 and we told them to take Notre Dame -1, and I'm going Ohio State in this one. And
yes. Yes.
Okay. And by the way, for the record, for your appearance, okay, just so you'll know, we're almost at 105.
All right. That's what I'm here for, brother.
We were approaching 104. We were at 103.9 something.
Yep.
We're approaching 105 now. Okay. So it's gone up $1,000 pretty much while you've been on here. So I'm just telling you.
I'm excited. I'm glad. I'm happy I keep delivering. When I stop doing that for you, you're probably gonna have to replace me, right? I mean,
when the fuck are you gonna start investing so you can start making your own money, dude? What the hell's wrong with you?
I know, brother. I know. You keep getting on
me. Come on.
Yep.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Send them some Bitcoin. Have a great weekend, my brother. Appreciate you immensely.
All right, brother. You too. Take care.
Got it. Big Cheese Miami NIL and recruiting report.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.